Looking ahead on 12 News, instead of Maple Grove, call it Maple Growth. See how the city has surged in population. Then a Brooklyn Park woman's surprise food finding. What this woman will have trouble eating again. But first, another food issue, this one involving the meat counter and your pocketbook. 12 News starts right now. If you haven't shopped for your Memorial Day picnic yet, then you might be in for sticker shock at the meat counter.
Beef prices are at an all-time high thanks to a ban on Canadian beef and weather conditions impacting U.S. cattle ranches. Reporter Shannon Slatton explains how it's influencing shopping right here in the Northwest Metro.
Right now, I just get what I want.
Carol Parker shops with list in hand,
10 pounds of ground beef fresh.
and quality in mind.
I'm not a price shopper. I just go where I want to go.
When it's grilling time,
Where's the beef, right?
We get the burgers, the steaks, the beef sticks.
she's not alone in her decision to shop at the Osseo Meat Market.
These things just fly out of here.
The meat market is fully staffed,
It's usually pretty hectic.
ready for a holiday rush.
We have usually around 8 or 9 people waiting on people, and they're picking out the stuff that they would like, and we wrap it all for them and mark it all and send them right off to the lake.
Beef prices may be inching up, but that hasn't influenced shopping habits here. Shoppers are still coming in looking for those burgers, those steaks for Memorial Day.
It amazes me that all the people still keep on coming and coming and coming and coming, even with a little higher prices and lousy weather.
Actually, the extended winter weather has influenced local shoppers more than the rising price of beef.
3-4 weeks ago, when it was a beautiful weekend, it was like a Christmas rush here. It was like everybody wanted to get outside and cook.
We wanted the good food, so that's what we come and get.
This couple is headed on the road with around $100 worth of beef ready to grill.
Yep, all weekend. So
They chalk up any extra cost to the rising price of a holiday weekend.
it's a small town type of place, and so you like to support that. And yeah, even if it gets a little more expensive, you know, it's worth the good food.
In Osseo, Shannon Slatton, 12 News.
Brothers Meat and Seafood in Maple Grove also is noticing the higher prices of beef, but they say also the prices haven't influenced shoppers just yet.
Oh, we should know Thursday evening after a Boy Scout National Leadership vote whether the Scouts will allow openly gay youth into its organization. Current policy allows Scouts to be excluded based on sexual orientation. Northern Star Council, which represents Boy Scouts in the Twin Cities, released this statement about the vote. It reads, if passed, the proposed resolution will bring the national policy in closer alignment with our council's long-standing behavior-based orientation-neutral approach. Regardless of the outcome of the vote, the ban on gay adult Scoutmasters will remain in place. As tornado cleanup continues in Moore, Oklahoma, many here are looking to send donations.
And scammers could be trying to take advantage. While there haven't been reports of scams tied to this tragedy yet, the Better Business Bureau is warning donors to be careful. Beware of unsolicited calls or emails asking for money. Watch out for emails with suspicious links that could contain a computer virus. Research charities before giving or give directly to well-known groups like United Way or Red Cross. And always trust your gut.
But we always say don't let yourself be pressured. If you have misgivings or feel like this just is not how a charity works, or no one from a legitimate charity would talk to me this way, follow that instinct.
To research a specific charity, you can go to give.org.
A clothes dryer is the focus of an investigation into the fire that burned a townhome in Golden Valley last week. The fire blackened the lower level as residents slept upstairs. Fortunately, a smoke alarm woke them up in time before the fire cut off their escape route. All 3 got out safely. It's not clear, investigators say, whether the problem with the dryer was a malfunction or a maintenance issue, but fire officials say lint that builds up in a dryer can start a fire.
Maple Grove just keeps growing. New census figures show it is the second fastest growing suburb in the state. Here's a look at the newly released census estimates. Maple Grove led all Northwest suburbs in growth, increasing by nearly 3,000 people since 2010. Plymouth is next, adding 2,300 people, and Brooklyn Park comes in third, climbing by nearly 2,000 people. Robbinsdale and Golden Valley round out the top 5 for our area in terms of growth. And the population boom in Maple Grove doesn't surprise the city's mayor. The city has enough land to develop for new housing, and it's close enough to Minneapolis to make it appealing for commuters. Maple Grove's mayor believes the city is attracting a mix of younger families and seniors who are moving in to be closer to their grandkids. And the city has housing to meet the needs of all ages.
Not only do we have the housing stock, but we have the retail, the restaurants, all the places that you need to go to, the hospitals here now. So all those things that you need sort of in your life are located right here. And for today, that makes life easy for people, and that's important.
The mayor says in the mid-2000s, Maple Grove was growing even faster, and that helped prepare the city for its ongoing rise in population.
There's a new leader in charge of North Hennepin Community College, at least for the next year. Lisa Larson was appointed acting president, while current president John O'Brien serves in an interim vice chancellor role with the Minskew system. The switch takes effect in June and lasts about a year. Larson is currently at Hennepin Technical College, where she's the vice president of academic and student affairs.
Brooklyn Park Police are honoring some distinguished members of the community as well as their own officers. At a ceremony Thursday evening, Sean Drew was named Officer of the Year. He's credited with arrests in 60 cases of criminal damage, nearly 1,000 traffic stops, and he won Patrol Officer of the Month 3 times in 2012. Drew has been on the force for more than 3 years and says his experience in the Marines helps.
I did 2 deployments to Iraq with 3rd Battalion, 7th Marines with the infantry unit. Part of those deployments are helping those people that are unable to help themselves from insurgents and terrorists, and I kind of see police work as a similar job to that.
10 local quilters, known as the Golden Needles, also received recognition. They were honored for creating quilts for the needy that were distributed through the police department's Santa Cop program. Have you ever found something in your food that made your stomach turn?
Up next, what a Brooklyn Park woman discovered in her spinach. And then later in sports, we head to the links for highlights of the Lake Conference Golf Championships.
But first, it's a look at your AccuWeather forecast. A Brooklyn Park woman is feeling squeamish after finding something a little extra in her spinach.
And as Sonia Goen shows us, this is one ingredient not listed on the package.
And I'm like, that was nasty.
Even Popeye would have a hard time chowing down on this spinach.
I was just eating it. I was, the eggs, I was mixing the eggs with the spinach, and then all of a sudden I got ready to take another bite, and I'm like, oh my God. I said, Dad, there's a bug in my food.
Michelle was eating dinner when she spotted the unwanted grasshopper.
I almost threw up, and I'm like, that don't make no sense. So then I called the kids, and my son said, Mommy, you know you have protein. But I'm like, I almost ate the whole bag. Now, what if I really wasn't looking at my food?
Michelle isn't the only one with a few bugs in her food. The FDA allows for a few bug particles and other creepy things to be in our food, like red hair in peanut butter and insects in pasta. It is allowed up to a certain level. As for spinach, 50 aphids or mites are allowed in 100 grams of spinach, but the FDA told us a whole bug is unacceptable.
That's a big particle to be in my food.
The Minnesota Department of Agriculture also checks for food safety.
Typically when you're dealing with a packaged product like the one you were referring to, to find a whole intact insect would be fairly uncommon.
Michelle says it will be a while before she eats her favorite veggie again.
I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can do it. Because I would think there would be another bug in my food.
In Brooklyn Park, Sonia Goins, 12 News.
We did contact Picked Sweet, the maker of the spinach where the bug was found. They had no comment, but the company did tell Michelle that even after spinach is boiled twice, bugs can still stay attached. The spinach was purchased at the Dollar Tree store in Brooklyn Park, and they have since pulled the product off the store shelves. Well, coming up, 2 standout students that may not know all the answers, but they do come pretty close.
But first in sports, a big comeback in boys baseball as Wayzata and Hopkins battle indoors at the Dome. John Jacobson is in next with the highlights.
John Jacobson with sports now. We start with golf, and you know, some pretty good golf despite the conditions, which again were kind of rainy.
Right. Yeah. I'm a terrible golfer in the rain. I'm a terrible golfer in the sun too. But I can't imagine getting out and playing Wednesday like these kids did.
Well, at least then you have an excuse.
That's right. I got lots of excuses. Golfers have to deal with the elements perhaps more than any other spring high school athlete. The players competing at the Lake Conference Championships Wednesday had cold, rain, and wind to contend with. Jessica Nelson teeing off in the rain for Wayzata at the Ridges at Sand Creek in the Lake Conference Championships. The weather didn't seem to bother the Trojans junior, though. Here she is on the par 4 12th hole at the Ridges at Sand Creek, rolling in a birdie putt on her way to a 2-over par round of 74. Her teammate, Sarah Burnham, was not far behind. Burnham shot a 76 for the Trojans as they were in a close battle for the conference title. On the boys' side, Hopkins finished third overall. This is Connor Hall. He misses the birdie try but makes par on the first hole and shot a round of 78. Wayzata's Jack Holmgren was steady even under adverse conditions. Holmgren carded a 2-under score of 70. His younger brother, Van, sinks a par putt here on a very good day for the Trojans. The Wayzata boys easily win the conference championship with a team score of 289. Minnetonka is second, 17 shots back. Hopkins is third, followed by Eden Prairie and Edina. Jack Holmgren, the tournament medalist, with that round of 70. Edina wins the girls' championship with Wayzata in second, just 1 stroke back. Then it's Minnetonka, Eden Prairie, and Hopkins. Nelson wins the medalist honors with her score of 74. After postponing twice, the Hopkins and Wayzata baseball teams decided not to chance another rainy day and move their game inside to the Metrodome. No rain in here for this one. Top of the first inning, the Royals load the bases, and then Jack Cherry cracks a shot off the wall. All 3 runners score, and Hopkins takes a quick lead on the double by Cherry. Top of the third for Hopkins, J.T. Den Hartog rips a hit to score Sam Dalton. The Royals would lead 5-0 after 2.5. Bottom of the third, Wayzata starts to chip away. Michael Faco lasers a hit to the gap. Jordan Sell hustles home for the Trojans. It's their first run of the game, and it's a triple for Faco. Bottom of the fifth, Wayzata gets back-to-back 2-out run-scoring singles. First, Nick Olmanson knocks in Sell. Then Connor Trigstad's base hit plates Christian Linhart and cuts the Hopkins lead to 5-4. We go to the bottom of the sixth, tied at 6th. Faco's fly ball is caught, and Matt Blanchard tags up and scores. Nice slide to put Wayzata up 7-6. The Trojans get 3 more runs in the inning, 6 total, and they go on to win 10-6. Memorial Day is just a few days away now, and with the unofficial start of summer almost here, it's time to kick off another summer of fishing tips here on Channel 12. Terry Tuma is back for his 23rd summer of tips with us. Here now is Terry's season opener.
Welcome to another series of open water fishing right here on Channel 12 with a lot of different tips that's going to help us catch more fish. We're going to cover all different species of fish that are located in the Midwest. Let's first of all start with bass. Hey, it's a bass opener this Saturday. What we really need to do, if it's a new lake or maybe it's a lake that we've already been fishing, is take a look at reading the lake. You know, where do I look for these fish? What is the water clarity at this time of the year? How about water temperature? The structure, what kind of weed growth do we have? Where is the weed growth? These are all big factors in catching fish right now. And what we would want to do then is when you're checking your water temperatures and so forth, just sort of create a format of where these fish are going to be. We're going to be either in a pre-spawn, spawn, or post-spawn period. These fish spawn in about 68 to 73 degrees. They don't all spawn at the same time or the same location. So that's something else we have to really work with. And then a good way to approach the locations of fish, their activity levels, is using search baits. Some of the search baits that we can use are your Rapala and Rapalas, some of the Terminator spinner baits. And then once you find these fish, then you can go to Texas rigs, you can go to wacky worm, jig and plastics, are all tools. Once you find these fish, have a great opener, and be sure to tune next week right here for another tip.
Thanks, Terry. Plenty of highlights tomorrow. Section baseball and Northwest Suburban Conference track and field and golf.
Always good to see Terry
Yes.
back.
Yeah, it is.
Thanks.
Thanks, John. Still ahead, 2 people you'd want on your side for a game of Trivial Pursuit.
And meet 2 students vying to become the kings of quiz when we come back. knowledge in a variety of subjects can earn you some pretty high scores in the game of trivia.
But if you're on a high school quiz bowl team, that knowledge could actually earn you a trip to Atlanta. As Delane Cleveland reports, that's exactly where two standout students from Wayzata High School will be going this weekend to compete in the National Quiz Bowl competition.
The prosecution will call their witnesses. They'll have 3 minutes to examine their witnesses.
Narupa Galagadera is a well-rounded senior at Wayzata High School.
Varsity tennis team, and Science Bowl, and Knowledge Masters Open, and speech team.
5 things, or what are we?
The same can be said for Wayzata junior Jack Buin.
I like music a lot, and I've been playing the trumpet for a while. I also am a member of the golf team. I'm also in the band, and I was in jazz band.
Together, Jack and Narupa are captains of Wayzata's award-winning Quiz Bowl squad.
I decided to try it out, and it was just the perfect match for me.
I like Quiz Bowl because, for one, it allows me to just show off the knowledge that I've accumulated over the past 4 years in high school, and at the same time, sometimes it even helps me study for my classes.
That might be from 2 years ago.
Their Quiz Bowl coach can't say enough about what the two have meant to Wayzata's state champion program.
They're both role models academically. They get along well with all of their teachers, but more importantly, they get along really well with every kind of student that we run into.
She calls those qualities incredibly important for Quiz Bowl captains.
Your heart starts pounding a lot of the time, and there's a little more strategy than you think. And you really need a captain, somebody in the room who's going to help keep everybody calm, somebody who is very aware of the other people's strengths.
Jack and Narupa will be able to put those skills to the test this weekend, with Wayzata taking 4 teams to the National Quiz Bowl tournament in Atlanta.
I would say I'm fairly confident about the abilities of our entire Quiz Bowl program, not just the A team, but all 4 teams that we're taking.
They're hoping that confidence, combined with what they've learned in the classroom, will serve them well as they compete against the top teams in the nation.
There's a lot of just amazing players there, and the caliber of the teams is just so much better than just your average run-of-the-mill tournament.
In Plymouth, Delane Cleveland, 12 News.
The Wayzata team finished in 13th place at the national competition last year. Meantime, Narupa is all signed up to attend the University of Pennsylvania next year to study, while Jack is undecided on a college. And I noticed that Delane did not take them on in a game of Trivial Pursuit. Smart move.
When they show up at game night, you want them on your team,
yeah,
right?
Absolutely. That'll do it. That's it for now. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Community Corner is coming up next.